Hi, welcome. I'm Imani, the host of the Bad Brain Podcast, as you may or may not know. Hello, my beautiful humans. I hope you're having a great day so far, and a great week and month. Okay, let's get into what we're talking about. This feels like the next conversation we need to have. I talked about my situationship, I talked about decentering men, but I haven't talked about what happens after that. What happens when the relationship actually ends? What happens when you finally let go of someone you've been trying to leave for years? And when I say newly single, I want to be very clear about what I mean. I'm tapping my fingers together because I don't mean freshly heartbroken. I don't mean crying on the bathroom floor at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't mean blasting sad music and stalking said person's social medias and wondering if they're thinking about you too. No, I've been that girl and I'm no longer that girl. I know exactly what that feels like. This is not that. This is different. This is newly single after emotionally detaching first. This is newly single after you already grieved the relationship while you were still in it. This is newly single after you've accepted, dang, it's over, long before it officially ends. And if I'm being honest, I was terrified of this version of single. Not because I wanted to be with him, no. No. But because I didn't know who I was without being with someone. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Before we jump into it, take it away, Samara. Okay, welcome back. Let's just hop right where we left off. I have been in relationships almost my entire adult life. Actually, my entire adult life, back to back. No real space in between, no real time to be alone. And I didn't realize how much my identity was attached to being someone's partner, being someone's person, being chosen. And on top of that, I'm a mom. I'm a mom now. I have a 4-year-old. And there's so much stigma around being a single mom. Even if no one says it directly, you feel it. You internalize it. You start to believe that maybe you failed. You start to believe that maybe you didn't try hard enough. You start to believe that your child would be better off if you would have stayed. Even if staying meant abandoning yourself. And I thought that for the longest time. I convinced myself for years that staying was the right thing to do because it was familiar, it was predictable, it was what I knew, even when I was unhappy, even when I felt alone in the relationship, even when I knew deep down that this wasn't the life I wanted. But leaving felt scarier than staying because staying required nothing new for me, nothing at all. And that's terrifying when you don't know who you are outside of someone else. And what's interesting is being newly single doesn't feel how I thought it would feel because I thought it would be dramatic. I thought that it would be chaotic. I thought that it would be emotional. I thought that I would fall apart. I thought that I would cry every night. I thought that this would feel huge, unbearable, empty, but I don't. And that almost made me feel guilty at first because I was like, why am I okay? Shouldn't I be more upset? Shouldn't I be grieving harder than this? Shouldn't I be missing him? But I'm not. Is there something wrong with me? And I think it's because I already did that part. I did the crying, I did the begging, I did the hoping things would change. I did the trying to fix things that were already broken. I did all that while still being in the relationship. So now there's nothing left to really grieve. And that realization was both freeing and heartbreaking at the same time because it made me realize just how much I have been emotionally gone. I was physically there, but emotionally I had already left. I was gone. Bye. Peace. I had already left. And the reality is, my situation isn't clean. It isn't this cinematic breakup where you pack your bags and never see each other again. He's my son's father. And we still live together. At least for now. Until I save up enough money to move out on my own. No, there's no dramatic exit. There's no final goodbye. There's no closure conversation. There's just distance. We live separate lives in the same house. We parent our son. We coexist, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes there's tension. Sometimes there's slight arguments because you can't undo 6 years overnight. And even with all of that, there's things I didn't expect. There's peace, and not the loud kind, not the obvious kind, the quiet kind, the kind where you wake up in the morning and your chest doesn't feel heavy, the kind where you're not constantly anxious, the kind where you're not consistently wondering if you're asking for too much, the kind where you can just exist. And that's the kind of peace I love. And I didn't realize how much anxiety I was carrying until it was gone. I didn't realize how much of myself I had shrunk, how much I had silenced myself, and how much I abandoned my own needs just to keep the relationship functioning. And now I don't have to do that anymore. And what's really interesting is what started happening after that. Because I don't know, should I say this? Sure, whatever. I actually developed a crush, and it was small. It was innocent, it was light. And what shocked me wasn't the crush itself, it was how I handled it. Because the old me, girl, the old me would have turned that crush into everything. I would have fantasized, I would have projected, I would have created a whole future for us in my head. I would have attached myself to the potential of what could be. But no, this time, I didn't. I didn't need anything from him. I didn't need his validation. I didn't need his attention. And I did not need to feel valuable. I just enjoyed the feeling. I just let it exist without turning it into something more. And that's when I realized something that honestly changed everything for me. I can feel something without losing myself in it. Honestly, it might sound so small to some people, but for me, for moi, for Imani, that's everything. Because for most of my life, my emotions controlled me. My attachments controlled me. My fear of being alone controlled me. And now they don't. And that's when it really hit me. Being newly single isn't about being alone. It's about coming back to yourself. It's about rediscovering who you are when no one is watching, when no one is choosing you, when no one is validating you, and when it's just you. And honestly, I like who I'm becoming. I like how grounded I feel. I like how intentional I feel. I like that I'm no longer making decisions out of fear. I'm making decisions out of alignment. And for the first time in my life, I trust myself. And it's not because I have everything figured out. No, trust me, I don't. I don't have everything figured out. And because I know that I'm not going to abandon myself again, that's the difference. That's the shift. That's what being newly single actually feels like. It doesn't feel like loss. It feels like a return. A return to yourself. This episode was kind of short, but this was just a realization I had when I was doing my morning pages one day. Because I noticed the shift in myself. I noticed that I was complaining less and I was appreciating more, and I was showing more gratitude towards my life in general. And I wanted to get down to the bottom of that, and I realized that it all connected back to me being newly single. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I really do. I've been wanting to record this episode all week, but I haven't had the time, and I'm literally recording it 2 hours before I'm putting it out. But it's so worth it. I've been so busy this week. I'm just so glad I finally got to record it and get it out. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, great month, great year, and I will see you in the next one. I guess I'm just going to make that my outro for my podcast too.